Rockeyez would like to welcome Cris Brown, One Less Reason. Hey, man, what's going on?
Oh, not too much, man. How are you doing?
Great, very good. Your fifth release, A Blueprint for Writing, amazing, release, 6 tracks. My favorite particular is A Million Miles, and I like basically every song, and even my family, the youngsters and stuff like that, and my wife, actually she took the CD from me, so so that's a goner for me. But at least I still I got to hear it and stuff like that. First, you started in a different band, which you changed your name to One Less Reason, and you moved on from that. You also went to school at LSU. How was that?
Well, I mean, LSU was just one of those things where you're trying to find your place in life. You know what I mean? And at the time, I was so young, and of course, when you're first starting out in music, you're not making any money, and you're living from couch to couch, and you're, scraping by. So, college seemed like a good choice for me at the time. But it was just one of those things where it was just like a, square peg in a round hole. It just didn't, I got through it and everything, but it just didn't really fit me as I guess an individual. Music was always where I was.
Right.
Was always where I was at. There wasn't a day that went by that I didn't think about music.
Cool. Now the new release is all independently released, and is that self-financed?
Something that, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like a Plan B kind of thing.
Right.
And thank goodness that I didn't have to go to Plan B.
Cool. Do you feel it's you have really more room to do things independently than a record label?
Absolutely. Record labels are good for two things, and that's taking your money and giving you bad advice.
Right.
If you're looking for somebody to take your money and give you bad advice, then sign to a record label. But I've really not found any worse for them other than that.
Right. Now,
so people, they live their whole life thinking, I can't wait to get on a major label. Well, I've been signed twice now, and believe me, it just isn't. It's a lie wrapped in a pretty box.
Right.
Is what it is.
Is it true that when you do go to a record label that they want some of your songs and you got to sign over your rights and everything else?
Well, they're doing a new thing now called a 360 deal.
Right.
They take part of your show money. They take part of your CD sales. They take, and when I say a part, I mean like they get the lion's share of it. Your T-shirt sales, your publishing, they take a cut of everything now. I mean, I actually heard one A&R guy say, the words came out of his mouth. He said, "It's not enough for us to just take 98% of the artist's money anymore. We need to go ahead and take 99%." And he was dead serious.
Wow.
Yeah. He was. I mean, I'm talking about straight face serious.
Cool.
But people are lined up for miles to do it because nobody wants to do it on their own anymore because it's so much work.
Right.
And it is. I mean, it will put the gray hairs right on your head doing it yourself. But at the end of the day, I know lots of guys that are signed to record labels that can't make their car payment.
Right.
And I know a lot of guys that are independent that, are always on vacation or doing what they want to do.
Cool. Do you think it's a lot easier now independently with the internet and everything else?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is, but it's also a two-edged sword.
Right.
You got people that are always going to just download your music.
Right.
I mean, I put a Blueprint for Writing out on a Tuesday, and on Wednesday it's on every shareware site on planet Earth. I mean, it's just, so if they could find a way to control that.
Right.
I think it would be a lot easier on everybody independently. I don't think anybody would want to even sign to a record label if we could control that, because me being independent means I pay for everything myself.
Right.
So when somebody doesn't buy my record, that puts me back personally. It's not this corporation. It's not this these CEOs that you're putting back. I mean, that's actual money that I use to support my family and take care of things that we need taken care of as a business. Right.
Now, the song "Uneasy," you donate the proceeds to Sandy Relief, and how'd that go over?
It went over well. Our fans really, come come up for that one. Altogether, I mean, it wasn't like we raised a ton of money. It was like $8,000 that we donated to. What's the Rademacher Foundation? I believe that's who we ended up giving it to.
Right.
You know, I mean, you know, it was what it was. We saw that there was a need there, and we're not the kind of people to stand back and go, oh, well, give me. We know for a fact that sometimes you get what you give, and if you can't give when people are in a situation like that, then you're probably just not even worth the flesh you're printed on, especially when you're blessed the way we've been blessed, you know?
Right. Now, do you feel it's easier for you to write lyrics, like with emotions, than actually, you know, talking to a person in front of them?
Yeah. I mean, I actually have one song on one of my records that says, I said 1,000,000 times I love you, but only in a song.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that kind of wrapped up, you know, I mean, I could write a song to people that I care about all day long, telling them this and that and this and that, you know, but at the end of the day, you know,
right.
I think that a lot of artists have a hard time saying it, just coming right out with it, you know?
Right.
I really do believe that.
How's it feel when, like, a fan comes up to you and, you know, say, you know, this song, that song really affected my life?
We get emails. I mean, we get many emails a week, people saying, oh, well, this song found me at this point in my life. And there was one email in particular, it was a couple of years ago, somebody was like, you know, they were like, I was going home and I was just going to cut my wrist and be done with this. And they said, I'll put your song A Day to Be Alone on. And I just listened to it over and over and over again.
Right.
And they were just like, you know, I want to thank you for getting me through the hardest time of my life, you know. And I don't see myself as doing anything really. I think God uses us as vehicles a lot of times.
Right.
We might be nothing more than the vehicle that God uses. You know, I don't have any kind of delusions of grandeur that you know, it was me that helped those people through that time, but maybe it was the words that I chose that, you know, that God or whoever you believe in used as a vehicle to help them out at that time of need.
Cool. Now, when a fan comes up to you and, you know, asks for an autograph, what's that feeling like?
Well, you know, it's awesome, you know, that people actually care enough to, you know, want to meet you and want you to sign their stuff and whatnot. You know, there's been a couple times where it's been awkward, like me and my wife would be, you know, at a restaurant and whatnot, and they, you know, the waiter or waitress would be like, hey, can you sign this for some people in the back? You know what I mean? I'm like, come on. Yes, I'll sign it for sure, but, you know, you just made this whole thing really awkward.
Yeah.
You know, but it's always a good feeling. I mean, if they stop asking for your autograph, now that's when you know you're in trouble.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. But, you know, Eaton definitely, you know, is a stepping stone for any fan to, you know, approach an artist. I'll tell you a particular story. I was with a friend named Bill DeMild. He's one of the writers here for Rockeyez, and we're both big Kiss fans. And we went to the hotel, and Simmons was sitting there eating cake, and my friend Bill, like, walked up to him and asked for an autograph or whatever he did, and, oh, man, Simmons says, do you mind? I'm eating. Can you leave me alone until I'm done? I mean, you know, it is kind of awkward, you know, but that's Simmons, you know. But,
yeah.
You know.
Well, it's also an awkward thing while you're eating, because it's really hard to look cool while you're eating.
Right.
Nobody looks cool eating, you know.
Wow. Tell me about Giuseppe's Moses and Vegetarian.
It's Giuseppe Moses and the Vegetarians. And
right.
The reason I named it that is because at the time I was signed to a record label, and they got dibs on anything that I did. They had first choice to say, yes, we want that, or no, we don't.
Right.
So I named the record something so off the wall and inappropriate that they would never want to touch it.
Wow.
You know, so Giuseppe Moses is a funny thing, because that's actually what my hippie parents wanted to name me when I was born, but my grandmother wouldn't. My grandmother wasn't having that, so it was kind of cool to use that name as a, you know, like a band name or whatever. But I mean, it's a side project that I just did for fun. I had like 12 songs or so that I had written that just did not match One Less Reason in any way whatsoever. You know, so pretty much I had some free time,
right?
And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and just record these real quick, put them out. If people like them, awesome. If people don't, that's fine too. At least I'll get these songs out of my head,
right?
You know.
Yeah, I
watching around.
I watched some of the videos this morning. It was pretty good.
Yeah, we did those with we used our Droid phones, man. We literally just went in there with our Droid phones and videotaped ourselves.
Wow.
Jumping around acting stupid, and then I'd put it all together and put the song on top of it. It definitely wasn't a. It took us, I think we spent like 3 hours on that video.
Wow, cool. I'm just reading some of the things, I stumbled across. I was just wondering if they mean anything. The Dreamer's Disease?
Yeah, the Dreamer's Disease is a band that I'm writing and producing right now. Actually, I'm going into the studio right after this to finish up their record. It's a band that I really, really like. A guy named Will Padgett that I've known for years. He's a great singer. Great songwriter. Him and I sat down, and actually we started this 2 years ago, but we kept writing better songs and better songs and better songs. So he's got a EP coming out probably about 2 months from now. The band's called The Dreamer's Disease, and the record at this point is called Memoirs of a Quarter-Life Crisis, because he's only like 23 years old.
Right, cool.
So, good band. I'm working with a ton of bands right now, I love doing One Less Reason stuff and playing, and, but I realize I can't be out there performing forever, and, that's why I invested in my own studio and my own this and that. That way, I'll eventually settle into the background of, just being the guy in the background, writing songs and recording and producing.
Cool. How about the Jackson, Tennessee Quartet?
The Jackson, Tennessee Quartet?
Yeah. What's that?
Jackson, Tennessee Quartet was these guys that got up on stage with us, and we would do Suspicious Minds by Elvis Presley.
Right.
And they would get up on stage with us with their horn section, and they would do all the big horn parts in the Suspicious Minds song.
Cool. So what's your main goal now, since you established yourself as a rocker, and you're putting out some great music? What are your hopes, and what are you looking for?
Well, that's such an open-ended question, because everybody defines success in different ways. When I was younger, it was all about major labels and this and that, and now the only thing I really define success by now is, and Bob Dylan said that if you do what you love from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, then you're successful. Right. And I've been blessed enough to be able to do that, and I don't see that ending anytime soon, just because my work pile keeps stacking up and stacking up and stacking up. The only thing I can really say is I just look to just keep writing music that actually means something to people, the people that send me those emails, and the people who say, hey, man, your song really did this or that for me. I just want to keep writing music like that, and if I get to the point where I stop, writing songs that people go, yeah, I really feel that, or yeah, that really hit home to me, or whatnot, then I'm probably just going to go ahead and just quit as far as the performing side and the putting out my own records, because if I have nothing to say, then I'm going to stop talking. Right. Instead of, a lot of people try to go too far, and after they have nothing left to say, they keep going, and they kind of ruin everything that they put out before. Right. That old thing, oh, well, they used to be great, that kind of thing. Yeah. I don't want that. You know what I mean? I'd rather live off what I already have. Right. Everybody was always like, well, how are you going to write a song, more sad and better than A Day to Be Alone? I'm like, I don't know. Right. I just kind of pretty much just, I feel like these songs are already written. I just kind of just got to pull them out of the air and record them. And Uneasy was one of those songs. Right. It was just, it seems like these songs just kind of come to me. And, I think Uneasy might be the saddest song I have ever written, or probably ever will write. Right. But who knows? Maybe I'll write another one. That I knew I was onto something with that one, though. When my buddy Shy from Sore Eyes, I played it for him, and I looked at him, he was crying. I was like, oh Lord. I was like, oh Lord, what do I do now? That must make you feel kind of good, I guess. Oh yeah, to touch people on that level, and to have found the right words to say. Cool. Because that song was really a strange song for me, how it was written and everything, and and now my dad passed away in February. I can't really play that song without thinking about him. Yeah. It's just one of those things. It's just kind of music. I really do believe is a soundtrack of our life, and it's the kind of thing. It's almost a timeline of our life. I can think about things that happened in my life and what record I was listening to at that time, you know?
Right.
You know, how many people do that, you know? Tons of them, sure.
True. What is it like when you got to go on the road and, you know, and the family's home? What's that feeling like?
Well, I used to have no problems leaving the house and, you know, and going to touring for, you know, however long we needed to. But I had my first child on February 20th, 2011.
Right.
Since then, I've had a hard time.
I bet.
I mean, I have a hard time just going to the studio for like 6 hours. You know what I mean? We end up FaceTiming 20 minutes while I'm at the studio 5 hours. You know, so it's just one of those things. It's just, you know, I know for a fact that, you know, I'm not going to be able to go out and do shows forever. So I need to, you know, do the shows while I still can. But at the same time, you know, I'm also kind of getting older and domesticating myself. And, you know, I used to prefer to always be on the road, and now I prefer to always be home.
Right.
You know, so, I mean, it's one of those things where we kind of have to just, like, say, okay, well, I can do this much of this and this much of that, you know.
Right.
And just try to do it, do things in the right moderation so that, you know, last thing I want is my little girl not, you know, knowing who I am because I've been on the road for a year.
Right.
You know.
Don't that kill you? Like for me, like I was driving my daughter to work. She's 14. She plays the trumpet, flute, violin, all this stuff. And she goes, "Oh, I have my you know, year-ending concert coming up." I go, "Well, what day is it?" She goes, "Tuesday." I said, "I can't go. I got to work."
Wow.
That kills you.
Yeah, I mean, right. I can honestly say I've been with my daughter every day of her life since she's been born so far, and that's been 15 months now. You know, I've pretty much just been doing it. Well, I had to have like a minor throat surgery.
Right.
You know, so, you know, the doctors, you know, had me off for a while and this and that. So I've not really had to, you know, I can't make it because I got to go do a show.
Right.
You know, I've planned everything. So our shows are also planned 3 months in advance, you know. But when she gets to be 14, and I'm going to be like, oh, you know, I'm still in that 15-month phase, you know. I haven't got that whole, I got a recital coming up.
Right.
You know.
I just feel dads miss out on a lot of, you know, their child's life because, you know, you're the breadwinner. You got to bring in the money. You got to pay the bills.
Absolutely.
So you basically have no choice.
You know, I mean, they look at us as a lot of things, you know, protectors and providers, and you know, we've got to do all of it, you know, and so, you know, I know I have to go to work, I know I have to do, you know, I have to do things, and I still love what I do. It's just, you know, I also love spending time with my kids, so just got to find a happy medium in there somewhere. Cool.
Now, is one less reason, you know, working on new material?
Yeah, I've started the ideas for the next record. I've already recorded one song for the next record.
Cool.
I think the next record's probably going to be another full length with a blueprint. It was really, those 6 songs were exactly what I felt, and I felt like there was a whole chapter to itself. You know, I thought that adding any more songs to that record would kind of you know, start untelling a story, if you will. You know, but the next record I've started working on it. Probably looking at early 2014, you know, cool. Mid 2014 with that. I'm about to do a record. It's actually another side project. You know, I wanted to do something heavier, and there's a guy named Jason Culberson who sung for a band called Monroe Brown.
Okay.
And I always thought that he was hugely talented, and I've just been put back in contact with him. And him and I are going to do a record. The band's going to be called The New Chosen, and we're going to put out a record of, like, really, you know, it's going to live somewhere between 30 Seconds to Mars and, you know, Marianas Trench. So, you know, he's an amazing, it'll be the first record that I've put out that I don't sing on.
Wow.
So that should be something. But I am going to do a lot of the writing and all the guitar playing. So
cool.
You know, and then we'll get to the One Less Reason stuff in 2014. We're going to, you know, do some shows this year and, you know, go out and just do that thing. I mean, we're lucky enough now that we kind of have like a, I guess almost like a set fan base that has stuck with us through the years. So that kind of takes a lot of the worry and the stress off of you of, you know, hey, is anybody going to buy this record and whatnot. So kind of gives us like a job security, you know. It allows us to go in and make the record that we want to. We don't have to go, okay, well, we got 3 weeks to make this record. It's like, no, you know, if we need to take 6 months to make this record, we can take 6 months to make this record. Just make it good, you know.
Cool. Well, I congratulate you, and great career, great songs on the new CD. Would you like to say anything in conclusion?
In conclusion, man, I'd like to thank I'll thank you guys for, you know, interviewing us and, you know, saying nice things about our record, because we did spend a lot of time on it. And any of your readers that haven't heard the record, or One Less Reason, I mean, we're a band that we're not the band that you're going to listen to and go party. We're not the party band at all, but we're a band that finds you in real life situations and things that we deal with in everyday life, you know. And if you're looking for a band or need a band in your life like that, then check us out.
Thanks a lot, Cris.
Thank you, Brian.
Bye-bye.
Bye.